Commission's Director General for Research, Science and Innovation, responsible for international cooperation. I'm sure many in the audience would have taken note of the communication recently released by the European Commission on a global approach to research and innovation, which certainly resonated very well, not only in Europe, but indeed across the world, because it spoke very specifically about the importance of international cooperation. And Christina has been, for many years in Africa, we know her as an outstanding partner and friend with whom we work together very well. So Christina, over to you.
Thank you very much, Dan. Thanks for your kind words of introduction. There is an echo, maybe the persons that do not speak should turn off the micro. And thank you also for saying that our work with the African Union and with Africa in general is a joint work. And that makes me very happy to be here this afternoon with so many colleagues and friends to speak about the policy context of the EU-Africa cooperation in research and innovation. It is a very important cooperation, a long-standing cooperation, and I will not make the history of that because otherwise I would be too long. I would just start from the most important recent events, and in particular from the ministerial meeting that we had in July 2020, a meeting between the EU and African Union research and innovation ministers, which was the first ever ministerial meeting between the EU and the African Union, during which we looked together on how to tackle, from a research and innovation point of view, the consequences of the pandemic, both from a scientific point of view in relation to the health consequences and the economic consequences. This meeting endorsed the 4 priorities that guide us in our work, in our high-level policy dialogue, which we are carrying out since 2007 between the African Union and the European Union, which in fact relate to a very focused and strategic cooperation on important sectors such as public health, the green transition, innovation technologies, and the capacities for science. The work that we are doing on research and innovation is fully embedded into the comprehensive strategy with Africa that the European Commission adopted last year, that frames the global cooperation that the EU has with Africa, based on ownership and common interest. And with this cooperation, research and innovation are scaled up as really building block of our overall EU-Africa communication. Then you made reference to the global approach communication, the global approach to research and innovation, which was adopted in May this year, and which sets the guideline for the future activity on international cooperation in a changing world. I will not go into the details of this communication, and I would recommend to all of you to have a look at that. But what I would like to say is that in our strategic activity for the future, strategic activity that will guide us also for the implementation of the Horizon Europe program, we have a specific attention to Africa. Africa is a continent with which we want to enhance research and innovation cooperation based on mutual interest and common ownership. That leads me to say that we have just launched the Horizon Europe program, which is the EU Research and Innovation Framework Program. It is the biggest multilateral research and innovation program of the world. We have a huge financial dotation. We have a budget of 19.5 billion euros, and it is a program which is completely opened to the participation of researchers from outside Europe, meaning that all researchers from all countries outside Europe, be them public or private, have the opportunity to participate to the calls which will be launched within the framework of the Horizon Europe program. And let me also say that this program has a duration of 7 years, and we have just launched the work program, which is a comprehensive program with the calls for the years 2021 and 2022. In this framework, what I would like to highlight is that this first work program of Horizon Europe includes a dedicated In Africa initiative with an ambitious package of 36 topics under call for proposals with a budget of 350 million euros. These 36 topics within Horizon Europe, which are in the Africa initiative, are those topics which translate into concrete actions and possibilities for cooperation, those policy priorities in terms of research and innovation that we have discussed in the high-level policy dialogue between the EU and Africa, and that have been endorsed at political level by the EU and African Union research ministers at the ministerial meeting of July last year. You will hear more about this initiative in the workshop, and I do really hope that you will all be motivated to join forces and apply for it. Before concluding, I would like to say also that this is not a self-standing initiative. This is one of the numerous initiatives that we have in order to enhance EU-Africa cooperation. First of all, we are looking very much into creating synergies with the other programs funded by the European Commission, and notably with the INDICI program, which is founded by the Directorate General for International Cooperation. And also we have we are looking at the synergies with the other programs launched by with the African Union, such as, for example, the ACP Innovation Fund and ARISE, and the African Research Initiatives on Scientific Excellence. Now, looking at the future, what we want to do is also to enhance our cooperation in the field of innovation. We have launched a pilot project on EU-Africa cooperation on innovation in 2019, pilot project which is just being concluded, and we want to follow up this pilot project with other specific activities that will allow us to broaden our cooperation with Africa, not only from a scientific point of view, but also from an innovation point of view. Let me conclude also by saying that one of the important activities that we are also carrying out is the EU-Africa Advisory Group on Research and Innovation, which is a group composed by 6 high-level experts from the EU and Africa that are working on specific and concrete recommendations on how we can do even better in enhancing this innovation and research-related cooperation between the EU and Africa. And I would like to invite you to join the exchange with the experts of the EU-Africa Advisory Group on Research and Innovation, which will take place on the 29th of June at 2 o'clock Central Eastern European Time, where the first recommendation within the 4 thematic pillars for our cooperation, notably health system, research and innovation capacities, innovation and innovation technologies and revolution and green transition, will be presented and will be discussed. All the information will be presented now in the chat. With that, I really want to thank you for this initiative, and I really do hope that this workshop will be useful for all of us for fully tapping the potential that the Horizon Europe program, and notably the Africa Initiative, will offer to the researchers and innovators from both continents. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Christina, for setting the scene, for really sketching the high political importance our leaders in Africa and Europe attach to this cooperation, which created this enabling environment. And I think also very importantly, highlighting the important science diplomacy role our cooperation in science and technology has with other aspects of Africa-European cooperation. From Brussels, we're now going to Addis Ababa. For us in Africa, Addis Ababa is for African integration, what Brussels is for European integration, perhaps without the chocolate and the waffles. But nevertheless, we're very privileged to have with us Dr. Mohamed Odruego, who is the counterpart of Christina in the African Union Commission. He heads the division which is responsible for human resources, science and technology, and the exciting strategies and programs for Pan-African cooperation in science, technology, and innovation. Mohamed, c'est à vous. Unfortunately, Mohamed's camera is not working, but nevertheless, he will be joining us.
Thank you, Dan, and good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for that introduction. Indeed, I am the director of the new department, the Department of Education, Science, Technology, and Innovation. As you are all aware, the African Union is going through a reform, and the Department of Human Resources, Science, and Technology is now the Department of Education, Science, Technology, and Innovation. I really want to thank you, Dan, for really moderating the session very well. And I want to also express gratitude to Director Christina Russo for her wonderful interaction and very good collaboration with us so that we can move the agenda forward within our joint partnership. Distinguished participants, I want to, on behalf of the Commissioner of Education, Science, Technology, and Innovation, I want to really express gratitude to the EC, particularly the DG Research and Innovation, for organizing this workshop and inviting the African Union Commission. The Department of Education, Science, Technology, and Innovation, as you know, coordinates the implementation of the AU policy on science, technology, and innovation with the view to accelerating Africa's transition to an innovation-led, knowledge-based economy within the overall framework of African Union Agenda 2063. One of the instruments in the implementation of the Science, Technology, and Innovation Strategy for Africa, TISA 2024, is to call for application to competitive grants carefully chosen in line with the TISA 2024 fundamentals, which seek to deploy STI in the area of agriculture, health, infrastructure development, mining, security, water, energy, and environment, among others. And all of those are anchored within the 6 key priority areas as decided by the African Union Assembly of Heads of State and Government in June 2014. The African Union Research Grant, with support from the EU, has contributed in providing evidence on some thematics such as sustainable agriculture, sustainable renewable energy, to start by a few. But the gravity and amount of challenges faced by the continent send a clear signal that more needs to be done in research and innovation, and indeed, the EU cannot do it alone. Africa spends on average 0.45% of GDP on research and development, significantly less than the global average of 1.7%, and despite the various advocacy, we remain far below our own Khartoum Declaration of investing 1% GDP in R&D. Through our partnership with the EU, as coordinated by the high-level policy dialogue on science, technology, and innovation, it is indeed with great humility that we welcome the EU decision to embody this African initiative under Horizon Europe, which respond to 4 joint priorities, namely public health, green transition, technology and innovation, and capacity for science, thematics which were agreed by the first EU-AU Research and Innovation Ministerial that took place in July 2020, as already mentioned by Director Christina Russo. The relevance of this thematic for Africa cannot be overemphasized, particularly with the advent of COVID-19 pandemic. This is then an opportunity to call upon the African research community, research institutions, professional associations, the African Academy of Science, the African Scientific Research and Innovation Council, Pan-African University, and other research centers of excellence to embark on this journey of competing in this call, create the needed network, leveraging on their individual capacity and institutional strength to not only be successful in the call, but to undertake research with positive and long-lasting impact to our Agenda 2063 aspirations. I understand that besides the workshop of today, Information session will be conducted to further provide elements to increase awareness and the chances of our scientists to be responsive to this call. Please sharpen your pen, remember your innovative ideas, and fill in the blanks, the gaps that require further investigation that will assist you in connecting the dots as you are drafting your research proposals. Your work will provide the clear evidence on policies on which policy makers can base their decision on. Again, thank you very much. I wish I had a video because I see that Dan has a very nice video. Christine Russo also had a very nice background. Everything is nice, but mine is dark. So I'm sorry. Next time I will definitely return it. Thank you.
Merci beaucoup, Mama. Thank you very much, Mama. Indeed, even if we didn't see you, your words more than made up for that. I mean, thank you for those words of encouragement to all scientists, researchers in Africa, and I think also very much highlighting the potential of the instrument provided by the Horizon Europe to bring Africa and Europe closer together. And we look forward to see you soon in Addis Ababa. We've spoken about the context, but it's certainly time now to get into the detail. So without any further ado, I'm going to invite Nienke Buysman, who's the head of unit in the European Commission, responsible for international cooperation in different regions. But I know Nienke well, and I know Africa has a special place in her heart. So Nienke, over to you.
Many thanks, Dan. Yes, I think the presentation is coming up. I wanted to say 2 words about Horizon Europe before jumping straight into the Africa Initiative, which is part of Horizon Europe. We've heard about Horizon Europe already, so I will not spend too much time. The new research and innovation program of the EU, 95 billion for the next 7 years, and the biggest bulk is going to finding solutions to global challenges. And that's also what the Africa Initiative is focusing on. It has 3 pillars. The second one is on the global challenges in the area, for example, of health, food, energy, mobility, agriculture. And we have heard that this is what the initiative is about. But also pillar 1, the excellent science, with programs maybe known to you as the European Research Council and Marie Sklodowska-Curie Actions, but also the research infrastructure program. So entirely open to the world, Horizon Europe, and it has targeted actions, targeted goals for international researchers. And for this first time in the first work program for the next 2 years, we have what we call this Africa Initiative. And let me go a bit into the details. So this Africa Initiative, it has a budget of more than 350 euros. And is really a set of calls for proposals, topics as we call them. So we have 36 topics spanning over 4 pillars. The 4 pillars that we set as our joint policy priorities in the ministerial meeting last year, of which you have heard. So the calls are in the area of public health, 30 million euros of calls, green transition, 215 million euros of calls, innovation and technology, 11 million, and capacities for science, almost 92 million euros. The program was published last week, and if you go to the EU funding and tenders portal, then you'll really find the list of these calls with all the information. So let me go a bit into the detail of these 4 pillars. We firstly have the public health pillar, with a call in the area of poverty-related diseases, 40 million euros, with a deadline in 2021. So all of these calls have either deadlines in 21 or 22, and the exact dates you can find for each specific topic on the funders and tenders portal. Also, the budget of 40 million doesn't mean it all goes to one project. It's explained in the call text, the number of different projects that we are expected to fund in this field. In addition to this Africa Initiative and the pillar on public health, we're also expecting to launch calls for proposals from 22 onwards as part of the EU-Africa Global Public Health Partnership that is currently still under discussion, but is a follow-up of the very known EDCTP program. It will be an evolution to a public-private partnership. And so in addition to this 350 million Africa initiative, we are expected to launch this partnership with an EU contribution of an additional 800 million euros. And we expect other partners to contribute with 400 million euros. So this program, expected by the autumn this year, will be in addition to this Africa initiative. The second pillar, as you heard, of this Africa initiative is green transition. So here we're thinking about areas such as food security, sustainable agriculture, biodiversity, energy, climate change, and mobility. So this part of the initiative is divided in 4 parts. We firstly have goals in the area of sustainable energy, 4 goals, the deadlines again in 21 and 22, and with different set of budgets. Let me also remind that all researchers and innovators from all countries in Africa are automatically eligible for funding under this Africa initiative. The second part of goals of the green transition is in the area of mobility, mostly in the road safety sector. The third part is in the area of food, nutrition, and sustainable agriculture. Once again, all the call details of all these different topics can be found on the Funders and Tenders portal. You select Africa, you get them all, and you can look into the details. The fourth pillar of the green transition goals is in the area of environment, with many goals mainly in the area of biodiversity. So we have 8 goals in this field. The third pillar is innovation and technology, where we have 3 topics, such as in the Inner White Bridging Facility, but also coming from the first pillar of Horizon Europe in research infrastructures in the area of climate change. And finally, the fourth pillar of this initiative, the Capacities for Science, we have 11 topics in the initiative, really ranging from public policies, gender, ethics, as well as research on migration. And in addition to that, we have the very known program, part of Pillar 1 of Horizon Europe, the Marie Sklodowska-Curie actions, that is supporting human capital development, that is part of Pillar 4 of our initiative. As Director Russo said in her opening, the Africa initiative really cannot be seen in isolation. We're working very hard on creating synergies with other programs, especially those from the Director General for International Partnership, focusing on building capacity, but also on taking up the research results. And 2 of the examples are mentioned on these slides: the African Research Initiative for Scientific Excellence, really supporting individual researchers in Africa with grants. The call was launched the first call was launched last week. And secondly, the ACP Innovation Fund, that is really looking at the innovation part, the uptake of research results in the economy. You are certainly looking forward to discussing many of your questions, maybe to be meeting online with people, participants, matchmaking. So we would really advise you to go and attend the Horizon Europe Info Days. There you will learn all about the calls. They're starting next week, and we're also planning in the month of July several regional workshops where we are focusing on these different calls. You have several websites. Let me mention 3. The EU-AU Cooperation in Research and Innovation website, as well as the one for the Union for the Mediterranean, are completely new. You'll find all the details of the policy dialogue, of the initiative, or of past projects that you may be interested in, as well as the website on the national contact points. That's where you should turn to your national contact points for more information on the program, how to find partners, all the legal and financial questions you may have. We have with us today a national contact point from Morocco who will share his experience with you when I have finished my presentation. And let me finalize my presentation with 2 quotes, one from Commissioner Gabriel and the other one from Commissioner Akbor. European Commission, African Union Commission. Both commissioners have really been instrumental in setting the ministerial meeting last year, agreeing on our joint priorities and translating this now in the Africa initiative of Horizon Europe. Commissioner Gabriel telling us that with Horizon Europe, we're stepping up our ambition for a sustainable future for all. And Commissioner Akbar telling us that AU-EU cooperation in research and innovation has really gained momentum, and this is in line with the policy agenda also in Africa, as Mahama has also told us at the beginning of this meeting. So let me finish there. Thank you very much for your attention, and we're happy to receive questions.
Thank you very much, Ninke, for that comprehensive overview. And again, thanks to you and Christina and everyone in the Commission services who have worked together, that we have this really rich and diverse portfolio of instruments to advance Africa-Europe cooperation. I'm sure there will be questions. I can already see there are quite a few in Slido. But if you are excited, as I hope and I'm sure you are, you maybe wonder, is this possible? But of course it's possible, because Africa-Europe cooperation doesn't start with Horizon Europe. There's a long-standing history dating back to the very first framework programs of our two continents work together. And we therefore thought it was appropriate, coming to the second part of our discussion on guiding, to share with you the experiences of past cooperation. And I'm going to invite Anne Mwambugu, who is from Strathmore University in Kenya, to speak to us about her experience in leading a very exciting project currently funded under Horizon 2020 on Africa-Europe cooperation in renewable energy. Anne, over to you.
Thank you so much. My name is Anne Mwambugu, as introduced. I'm an electrical engineer at Strathmore Energy Research Center, which is found in Nairobi, Kenya. I'm a researcher on a jointly funded European Commission project called Long-Term Europe-Africa Partnership on Renewable Energy. The project aims to increase access to clean energy to Africa through renewable energy research and innovation, and we have around 83 organizations from both continents. So participating in the program, I'd say my experience has been that it's enabled me to, first of all, of course, expand my career. I am a very young researcher in the sector, and to be part of teams that provide a direction for energy systems for the continent, which is something that's very important to me. And so maybe just to mention some of the challenges that we've had. I think for me, the most challenging thing about participating in the Horizon 2020 project LIPRI is that's the abbreviation for the program. I think lots of stuff gets lost in translation when you're talking to people across age groups, across genders, races, and a program like the one that the LIPRI, which that's the abbreviation, it has a lot of that. Yeah, so I do run other projects besides the LIPRI project. You can definitely look up some of the work that we do at Strathmore Energy Research Center in case you want to see what other things we do. That's it for me.
Thank you very much, Anne, for sharing with us with that experience, and best of luck with that very exciting project, which is LIPRI. In Ninke's presentation, she spoke about the very important role national contact points have to play to assist researchers and innovators to access the opportunities. And we are very privileged, therefore, now to share in the experience of one of Africa's leading national contact points, and that's my colleague and friend Esrafi Abdelawid from the Moroccan Ministry of Education and Science. Over to you, Esrafi.
Thank you, D'Antonois. Thank you very much. First of all, I would like to warmly thank the organizers for inviting the National Contact Point of Morocco on European Research Program to participate in this very important event on the Research and Innovation Days session of Africa. As the National Contact Point of Morocco is hosted in the Moroccan Ministry in charge of higher education and scientific research, we will take this opportunity to present firstly the mainstream mission of this National Contact Point, and then to give you the main recommendation, the objective to improve participation in African countries and European research programs, especially the Horizon Europe. This recommendation are based on our experience regarding the active participation of our country in European Call for Project. Just to inform you that the National Contact Point was created in 2005 in framework of the European program with the support of the European Commission. We thank the European Commission for creating this National Contact Point in Morocco. Three-man mission are assigned to this National Contact Point. The first mission is select the call for project and after inform the scientific community with the various means like the website of National Contact Point. We use also the letters, information session, etc. The second mission is to support the researchers in the drafting of proposal. It's very important to support our researchers in the universities, especially for the administrative side of a proposal, and also to help this researcher to find the partners. It's very important to have the partners in objective to integrate project consortia. The third mission is to inform the policymaker. It's very important to inform our policymaker and national level about the result of participation in call for project, as well as the problem which discourage the researchers to not participate in the call for project. The objective of this National Contact Point is to give some information to our policymaker. The National Contact Point of Morocco coordinates also the activities of more than 30 institutional contact points in the universities in national level. We will coordinate also the activities of the future thematics national contact point on the Horizon Europe. We just launched recently the call for application to select 10 thematic national contact points. The National Contact Point is also responsible to organizing the bilateral meeting, especially with the European Union, with the Commission European, to discuss the result of our cooperation, as well as the impact of the agreement that was signed between the two parties. The implementation of this mission at national level was done in partnership with all partners, with our researchers from the universities, researchers from the research center, and also the researchers from the private sector. It's very important to involve the private sector and also the researchers in the association to participate in the call for project of the European program. Since the establishment of the European framework program, we can say that Morocco assessment of this call was very positive and also was very satisfactory. If we give you some example for the European the Horizon 2020 program, Moroccan, which participate just as a partner, to have the opportunity to coordinate the call. We participate just as a partner. The Moroccan participation has benefited from the financial of 70 projects until now, with the involvement of 82 Moroccan institutions. We can say that our participation was very positive. With this result, Morocco was ranked until now the first country among the Mediterranean partners countries. I take this opportunity to make some more practical recommendation for better participation on European calls for project, especially for the Horizon Europe, while taking into consideration the Moroccan experience in participation in previous European calls for project. I have 8 recommendations, practical recommendation. One, set up a structure to support participation on European call for project. I ask about the national structure. We must have the national structure like National Contact of Morocco. Also the institutional structure and also the thematic structure in all thematics of European of Horizon Europe. The two concept to identify open and eligible call for the countries in order to facilitate the work for researchers. It's very important to select just the call that are open to the country concerned. given that the European calls concern all the them, we propose that to identify just the call for project which concern just the priority terms for the country. It is very important to select just the call that will be very important for the country. Also prepare a summary sheet for each call for project. We done this work in National Contact Point to facilitate and to give more opportunity to our researchers to do not spend a lot of time to read all the proposal. We propose also to set up a website to disseminate this call for project. In Morocco, we use the database of the database of Moroccan researchers in the universities and also the researchers from the research center to disseminate all this calls for project. We propose also to organize a training and information session. It's very important into the universities and the institution in objective to discuss this call for project directly with the researchers. You must involve in this case the researchers from private sector and also from the association. And to search the partners in this call, we propose for them to participate in the cost action is very important for the country.
Abdul, sorry to be interrupt. We want to take some questions, so if you could please move to wrapping up. It's very, very valuable what you share.
Okay. And to establish, it's very important point to have the financial procedure at national level to make the financial management of the research project more flexible. Finally, I can confirm that Morocco is available to share its experience with other countries, especially with the African countries, in objective to help him to participate in the European Coastal Project. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that very rich information you shared, and congratulations really on Morocco's outstanding performance. And I'm sure your kind offer to work with other African countries to benefit in your experience to establish networks of national contact points will be warmly welcomed. So thank you very much. We now want to, in the time left, go to some questions from you, the audience. I hope you've been active on Slido. I can certainly see a few questions. So can we have the questions on the screen, please? And these are ranked by popularity. So I'm going to be very quick, and I'm going to go to Ninka for the first one. Must the calls and initiatives been co-created by African partners?
Yes, this is exactly the case, and that's what we have tried to convey today. All the calls are really corresponding to the priorities we set together. We have set together for the last 10 years, but the most telling example, of course, is the ministerial meeting, the first ever we organized last year, where we really agreed together what our priorities are for the future, the four: public health, green transition, innovation and technology, and capacities for science. And this is exactly what the Africa initiative is replying to.
Ninka, perhaps in the interest of time, you see the questions on screen. You guys go with them.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So for topics requesting in cooperation with Africa, no, the coordinator can also be from a European organization leading the consortium. Maybe to say as well that coordination of such a project requires quite some experience and administrative skills. It has less to do with doing research and more to do with managing the administration and financing. So important to note that. Let me see. So what can we do to ensure R&I is a central part of the future EU-Africa relationship? This is maybe more of a policy question that perhaps, I don't know if Mahama is still connected, wishes to address, but we are trying, and I think that we can see that the last communications, the Africa strategy as well as the global approach are really putting R&I as a strong pillar of the economic cooperation, so socio-economic development cooperation between the two continents, and initiatives like this one, the Africa initiative, but also other programs we have cited, and the visibility we give to those and the successes they could have will really help in putting R&I in the center of our relationship. We of course also have the upcoming summit where we have another opportunity to do so.
Perhaps just to add, Ninka, from an African perspective, what makes us very excited is that there is really alignment between the focus on aspects such as the green transition, the digital economy in the various policy documents of the African Union and the European Union. So indeed, we are, as you say, we are now seeing science and innovation receiving attention at a heads of state level. I think an important question to address is whether African participation is limited to the Africa Initiative or indeed it's possible in a broader framework program as well.
Yeah, thank you very much, Dan, for helping me. It's not evident to read all the questions. No, I mean, as we said, the program Horizon Europe is entirely open, or the majority of the calls is not all, but the majority of the calls is open to international cooperation, and therefore also to researchers and innovators from Africa to collaborate with those in Europe. So it's not just, but the Africa Initiative is really expecting or asking for an impact also for Africa, addressing specific challenges together. So it's very Africa specific, but any researcher can participate in most of the other calls, and there are around 1,000 calls in the first work program of Horizon Europe.
And will there be more calls after 2022 for the Africa Initiative?
That's what, of course, we are aiming for. But let's first see how successful we can be with this Africa Initiative. It's the first of a kind. Maybe some of you know that we did a smaller one already in FP7. Also, for example, the Africa topic in the last Green Deal call of Horizon 2020 was extremely successful in attracting collaboration with Africa. So we want to see what we can achieve with this Africa Initiative before looking forward. But it is clearly part of it's a policy priority for the EU. It's a policy priority for the EU, and Horizon Europe is one of the programs that can really implement this policy priority.
Perhaps one or two more. There's an important question. Is there a focus on institutional capacity building, for example, for research management? Now, we know this is, for example, receiving attention in some of the development cooperation programs. Perhaps you want to comment on that.
Yes, this is exactly the reason why we are seeking synergies with programs that are funded through the new NDK program by the DG International Partnerships, because this is these programs are more addressing capacity building, institutional capacity building included. But we can also, of course, say that as part of the collaborative projects funded under Horizon Europe, we are building capacity. We are building capacity of researchers, but also of institutions, because these are often very big consortia, organizations from both sides working together. So we are building capacity actually on both sides.
I see there are two questions which we haven't addressed. There's someone makes the comment, it's very important that we share information better between all these various projects and programs. And of course, that is receiving attention at the level of the high-level policy dialogue between Africa and Europe, where there are various mechanisms to bring funded projects together. And there's also a very specific question about whether collaboration on internet payment methods are possible. Now, of course, there's a focus on the digital economy, ICT in the program, but that would have to be contextualized in whatever relevant calls for proposals that there are. I think we have spoken to all the questions. I don't know, any concluding remarks from there's one about, very importantly, Marie Curie, but they've taken it off the screen. So I can't see what the question was, but I do believe that research, there's do not allow one to invite only African doctoral researchers. So how can this be dedicated to EU-Africa cooperation?
Yeah. No, of course, Marie Curie is a bottom-up program, so it doesn't necessarily have one focus on one particular country or continent in the world, but it is open, and there are many examples of Marie Curie actions involving African researchers.
Yeah. We don't have time to discuss the details, but we can assure whoever posed the question that it's certainly possible for African researchers to benefit from incoming fellowships and certainly also in the direction. But please attend. I think we've concluded with the session. So please, I encourage everyone to attend the information days. to visit the website, to access your national contact points. This is just the beginning. There's going to be an ongoing information and promotion effort from both sides, because as I think a key message which we wanted to emphasize today, this is about co-ownership. That's why I am, as an African, is moderating this session with our partners in Europe. I would just like to thank again all our speakers. I'm very happy, Christina, that we can see you are still here, and thank you again for your leadership, and as well as to Mahama for this very important cooperation. And we wish Abdelhawid you very well with your important work in Morocco, but also we'll take you up on your offer to build capacity elsewhere in Africa, and indeed to Anne, we're looking forward to the LEAP project as a shining example of a success story. Dear colleagues and friends, I think we've achieved our objective. We've informed you of the opportunities, and hopefully we've guided and encouraged you to really work together for the benefit of science, because science grows when we share, when we work together, when we share experience and expertise, but science really for the benefit of society. And then very importantly, in these times we're living, through this collaboration, we also bring our continents together, and we reinforce the solidarity, the friendship, and the partnership, which is so important. So I'd like to thank you all, and our best wishes to everyone, and please continue to stay safe. And we look forward to work with you all. Thank you very much.
Dan, we cannot finish this session without a word to thank you for your excellent moderation. That was really great to have you as the moderator, and also a word to say that we really worked a lot to have this Africa initiative in Horizon Europe. So I really hope that with this information session and the other, all our scientists from Africa and the EU will fully tap the potential of this initiative that we included in Horizon Europe. Thank you to you all, and thanks to you, dear Dan, in particular, for the great cooperation that we have and the great moderation of this event. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.